Hello, namaste, and good afternoon. This is Manashvi, and on behalf of Foroptum IBITS team, I would like to welcome you all.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'll start now, all right? Hello, namaste, and good afternoon. This is Manashvi, and on behalf of Foroptum IBITS team, I would like to welcome you all to our IBITS e-learning session. A brief introduction about our program. The IBITS e-learning session is an initiative by Foroptum. It is an interactive program where we discuss optometric topics. Before we start with today's session, a small reminder to our audience. Don't forget to keep your mics muted, and if you all have any questions, please type them out in the conversation box and we will discuss them after the presentation is over. Today, we have Mr. Keyur Sharma, who is going to talk on the topic Incisive Low Vision, a Calculative Approach. Before we begin, a brief introduction about our speaker, Mr. Keyur Sharma has completed his Bachelor's of Optometry in 2010 from Hari Jodh College of Optometry and also holds the Master of Optometry from the same institute. He is a gold medalist for both UG and PG education and is currently working as professor at BM College of Optometry, Surat. He has achieved prestigious fellowships of the International Associations of Contact Lens Educators, Australia, and fellowships of the Association of School and College of Optometry, India. Mr. Keyur is currently pursuing PhD in optometry from VNSGU, Surat, and he is founder of Akshar Vision Arena, an optometry eye clinic and opticals. Mr. Keyur has a vast experience in teaching core optometry subjects, especially low vision and binocular vision, with experience of above 8 years. So, on behalf of 4Optum IBIDS and our audience, we welcome you, sir.
Thank you for a good introduction, and thank you for Optum to give me opportunity for it. So we start with today's topic. It is an incisive low vision, a calculative approach. So first of all, why I keep this name? I keep this name as an incisive. Why? Because whenever any of the surgeon who is doing surgery, he keep in mind all the aspect of the eyes, all the aspect, all the structures, and whenever he takes the incision, it is a very precise, it is very sharp. So that's why we are going for a low vision that is also that much sharp, that much precise, and that much incisive. Uh, Together with, I keep the name a calculative approach because low vision ultimately you can say it is a full of calculation. You know about theory and etc. But if you don't know about the calculation, the patient will not be satisfied with you. Even it takes a longer time to give any of the low vision device to patient. So that's why we keep the name incisive low vision, a calculative approach. So before we start, I just give a brief about the topic. So first of all, I briefing about the terminology. So terminology is low vision. So ultimately, terminology itself says low and vision means patient having vision, as you show in a slide, patient having vision, but the amount of vision is low. It means the patient is not blind. So actually, what is the difference? So difference is patient having a visual field is there. Patient may having a somewhat of the vision there. Patient also having a light perception, may having a light projection. So patient having vision, but it is a less, and whenever the patient, if it is a blind patient, the blind patient even don't have any of the light perception. So this is the difference between a low vision patient and blind patient. So never take a low vision patient as a blind patient. Though they are a special patient, but they are not a blind patient. So low vision, it means patient having a minimum of the visual acuity. It is less, but patient having vision. So with start with the terminology, we digging into a detail. I promise you, I try to cover almost all the syllabus, all the portion of the low vision in a very brief manner. So now we shift towards second one. It is a definition. Already, I we decide that. Just a minute, sorry. Already we decided that. whatever low vision portion we are taking, it is always on a calculation base. Means even the definition which are going to take, it is also a calculative definition. Just a minute, there is one issue. Just a minute, hold on. I just stop my. Sorry for interruption. Okay, so we go towards the definition. So already what I discussed, whatever we discuss is always a calculative. So if you require to remember the definition of low vision, it is also a calculative. You have to remember only four parts. If you remember this four thing, then you will be memorize the both definition of low vision. So first of all, who is a low vision? Who is the person having a low vision? So any of the person having an impairment of the visual function even after treatment and best correction, which is either spectacle, contact lens, or surgery. And patient having a visual acuity of less than 6 by 18 in a better eye, and the visual field 10 degree from point of fixation. Because if you are focusing on any of the point, that point also take a 10 degree. So total 20-degree visual field. So here WHO definition will be finished. So it's a very simple. You have to remember only three part, that for definition is that the low vision means the patient who having an impairment of vision even after treatment and best correction, which is either surgery, either spectacle, or either contact lenses. And even though after all this, patient's visual acuity is less than 6 by 18 in better eye and 20-degree field apart. So here we finish the WHO definition. If we want to add more on a lighthouse definition, so simple, one more point you have to add it, and that point is peak contrast sensitivity. In better eye, there is a less contrast sensitivity resolution, and the peak contrast is a less than 1.7 log CS. So ultimately, what is the calculative approach for a definition? You have to remember a four part. A part 0, impairment of the visual function, means five visual function, that is a color vision, contrast, visual acuity, depth perception, and visual field. So impairment in a visual function. Second, this visual impairment is not corrected by any of the treatment. And third, the visual acuity is less than 6 by 18 and the visual field is less than 20 degree across. While if you're discussing about the lighthouse definition, so lighthouse definition is the same like a WHO, only it's add on one thing, that is the log CS. So if the patient having a low vision, what will be happen? So what is the impact of that low vision? If the patient having a low vision, so impact is what? It is like this. There is a patient who is a healthy earlier, having a visual impairment, means patient having a visual disorder. It means it is the anatomical disorder. If the patient having any of the anatomical disorder, that is a visual disorder, and that disorder converted into a visual impairment, means physiological disorder. And after that physiological disorder, the patient created the disability, means the ability to function is decreased, and ultimately finally the patient is handicapped for a vision. So what is there? So first of all, there is a four stage. There is an anatomical problem, means visual disorder. That anatomical problem leads to a visual impairment, that is a physiological disorder. This create a vision disability by a patient to working in a routine, and this disability leads to a dependency of the patient. It means it is a visual handicap. So there are the four stages or impact of the low vision patient. So as we discussed earlier, there is a problem in a patient's visual function. So which visual function is a problematic? So problematic visual function is visual acuity and visual field. So now we're going to discuss about the visual field. Ultimately, so many kind of the visual field disorders are there, but right now we are discussing about the main four visual disorder. The first is a central visual disorder. It means whenever there is a macular area is covered, means the center of the retina is covered, at that time patient develop a macular disorder. If the patient having a peripheral retina involvement or any of the road related disorder is there, then patient may develop the peripheral visual field defect. If the patient having any of the overall media defect like full thickness corneal opacity, full thickness lenticular opacity, or media opacity, or amblyopia also. Some amblyopia like toxic amblyopia is irreversible, and this kind of the amblyopic patient having an overall visual field defect. If patient having any of the nerve related disorder, they having a hemimyopic means half visual field disorder. So ultimately, whenever any of the patient comes to a clinic with a visual field defect, and even though you don't having any of the your torchlight or any of the your slit lamp, even you are in a camp, just asking a patient about the visual field defect, you come to know about which part of the eye is affected. As we already discussed, if there is a central opacity or central visual field defect, means mainly it covers the macular part. If it is a peripheral visual field loss, it means patient may having a glaucoma, or patient may having any of the disorder in a cone related area or periphery retina. Patient having a full visual field defect, it means the severity of the central or peripheral visual field is more, or patient having some disorder like full thickness opacity in cornea or lens, or maybe a patient having a dense amblyopia. If any patient having a issue related to a hemimyopic means a half of the visual field defect, it means patient may having any of the disorder related to optic nerve. So it is very simple to know about the visual field or any of the problem related to patient's eye structure by just interviewing patient about the visual field defect. So now we come to know, if your patient comes to your clinic or in your OPD, and you already come to know about that patient having a problem related to vision and visual field. So which specific examination you will perform for this low vision patient? So examination are nothing different. It is the same as what you do in your routine OPD. It means whenever a patient comes to your clinic, a routine normal patient history, interviewing of the patient, then normal slit lamp or torchlight examination you have to perform. You have to go about the slit lamp examination. You have to go about refractive part, keratometric part, etc. So there is a nothing change or nothing is new in a low vision patient examination, but the way you perform the optometric practice or optometric investigation for this low vision patient is different. So examinations are not different, but the way to perform examinations are different. Because in low vision patient, there may be a problem related to the media or etc. You are not able to examine patient's eye. You may be not able to examine patient's refractive error. So you have to find any of the help or any of the tip from the patient previous glasses, or whenever of the idea you have to get idea, and then you have to go further in a detailed examination. So examination part is the same, only the way is different. So what you do for your low vision patient, from where the examination begins? So whenever the low vision patient comes to a clinic, the examination begins with the observation. Means observation, it is not just like patient entering to your clinic, but when patient entering your clinic, patient is walking, patient is sitting in a chair, you examine patient at that time, cooperation of the patient, patient's ability to observe, patient's ability to listen. This all thing you have to observe during a full examination of your low vision patient. So observation gives a key point for your low vision patient, like patient is walking lonely, or patient come with the support of any of the patient, or patient if entering your clinic and patient is stumble or etc. So this all thing you have to observe when the low vision patient comes to your clinic. After examining low vision patient, you have to take history and detailed interview. As you observe in this diagram, the diagram having a so many colors and difficult to judge or identify the individual color, and you will be made trapped into your history only. So same way, whenever the low vision patient comes to a clinic, the history part or interviewing part is very important part. It's having a various color, and from it you have to find the sharp detail of your low vision patient. Because as we already know, the history of any of the patients gives you almost 80% of the diagnosis. So what to take in a history? The history is also the same as you take for your normal routine OPD patient. So in history, you have to take a general examination, ocular history, systemic history, educational history. But what is special in this history? So whenever you start with a general history, we teach like if there is any of the patient comes to your clinic, start with a close-ended question. But whenever there is a low vision patient who comes to your clinic, always start with an open-ended question. So if you ask an open-ended question to your low vision patient, then patient starts saying a story of his family, his daily routine problems, etc. So you come to know about the diagnosis. For the ocular, the ocular history is very important because the ocular history is only a key point which give you the reason for the low vision. So ocular history is very important in a low vision patient. Also systemic history too, because there is so many systemic disorders like hypertension, diabetes, thyroid. This all kind of the disorder also may lead to a low vision. So that is also important. Education. So why education is important? Because some of the time what will happen, patient is a low vision patient, but due to the vision is less, the parents or society take them to a blind school. So that's why we have come to know about from where the patient having a low vision. This education part is also important. After education, if patient is adult, then you have to ask about the vocational history, financial history, and task related and lighting problem. Why? Because in low vision patient, lighting is very important. Some patient required a more light, some patient required a less light. So don't wasting a time in an examination in a different lighting condition. Just by asking a patient about the lighting condition, also you come to know about that. The another thing, the task related history and financial, because a low vision patient may be almost what is my observation, in 70% of the low vision patient are the poor patient, and to give them devices and etc is also a quite difficult task because of the monetary. So that's why another thing why the task related history is important. Some of the low vision patient having excessive mobility tasks, some having a task just sitting on a chair and etc. So according to that, the device selection will be changed. So this is the reason why you have to take a various kind of the history. So already as we discussed, the history part is a very complicated part. As we observe in this diagram, many of the colors are there and you have to take only the important color which is for you. Then after taking a history part, we have to go for a visual acuity. Again, visual acuity is the same manner what we take for a normal patient, but again, it is a something manner is change in a visual acuity. Usually in a normal patient, we are taking a visual acuity in a Snellen's chart, but over here, you have to take a visual acuity for a logmark chart to avoid any of the crowding phenomena in between letters and line. The visual acuity part is very important for a low vision patient because any of the calculation which is for a low vision, this all calculation is depend on a just visual acuity. If the patient having a poor visual acuity or etc, or patient demanding a good visual acuity, or what is the present acuity and what is the patient wish for the acuity, this all calculation means any of the calculation of low vision, this is depend on just a visual acuity. So that's why visual acuity part is very important. So we digging with the basics. So first in a visual acuity, there as you observe in a diagram, there is a optotype. Optotype means any of the individual letter which is in a grid pattern. It means it will be written up properly. Whenever we write down in a notebook or etc, the size of letter is not same. Our some letters are smaller, some are bigger, some take too much space, some take a smaller space. But for a visual acuity, it won't be happen. You have to take a proper grid pattern and that grid pattern will decide a letter optotype. Even for grid pattern, there is a different uh, so there is a societies are there like Serif, Sloan, New English, British Standard is there. So these different standard are there for this kind of the visual acuity. As you observe in this diagram, there is an extra block in a letter. If there is an extra block in a letter, this kind of the letters are known as a serif letters. If there is a letters which is a 5 by 5 grid pattern, that is known as a Sloan, and which is in a 5 by 4 pattern, that is known as a British letter. Usually nowadays as a worldwide we are accepted a Sloan standard, means a 5 by 5 grid pattern visual acuity chart we are using for a low vision or normal visual acuity pattern. Now what is visual acuity and why we write down 6 by 6, 6 by 24? Actually what is 6 by 6, what is 6 by 24? And there is a so many designation like a logmark visual acuity chart, mar visual acuity chart. So which kind of the visual acuities are this? So this is the different kind of the designation of visual acuity. So which are the designation of visual acuity? So first is a normal, what we have written 6 by 6 or 20 by 20. So what is there? So designation of visual acuity is a simple, the testing distance divided by distance at which the letter will create a 5 minute of arc. It means if the patient's visual acuity is a 6 by 12. So what is 6 by 12 actually? The 6 by 12 in 6 by 12, the number 6 that is indicated the distance from where you are taking a patient's visual acuity. So in a 6 by 12, the 6 is a patient's distance at which you are taking visual acuity, and the denominator 12 is indicated at a distance of 12 feet that later create a 5 minute of arc. Means there is a various visual acuity like 6 by 24, 6 by 18, 6 by 9. So what is this 18, 9, 12? So this 18, 9, 12, all the denominator indicated the distance at which a particular letter create a 5 minute of arc. Then there is a one more designation of visual acuity. It is decimal notation. So what is decimal notation? So it is very simple to calculate a decimal notation. If we go towards the UK countries, so at that time they are using a decimal notation. Towards our Indian standard, we are actually taking a visual acuity in a 6 by 6 manner, but they are taking visual acuity in a decimal manner. So what is this decimal visual acuity? It is very simple to calculate a decimal visual acuity. If there is a 6 by 24 visual acuity, so you have to divide this 24 from a 6. So what is that? It comes up 4. And when you divide a 4 by 1, this come up 0.25, 0.25. This is the decimal value. So it is very simple, very easy calculation to check about the decimal notation or convert about the decimal notation. Simple, whatever is a visual acuity, divide that numerator and denominator, whatever will become divide by 1, whatever will become, that will become a decimal notation. Now minimum angle of resolution means a mar value. So what is the mar value? It is again very simple. You have to just divide numerator and denominator. If the patient's visual acuity is a 6 by 12, so you divide 12 by a 6, so what will become? So there is a come about 2. So that 2 is a mar value, but mar is not important. We have to make a logmark chart. So when you see a log 10 of 2, that will become 0.3010. So that is a logmark. So logmark conversion is important. Then if any of the patient comes to a clinic and required any certification, etc., so for that certification you require visual acuity rating and V percentage. So visual acuity rating is a simple equation, 100 minus 50 logmark. For that 100 is correspond to 6 by 6 and 50 corresponds to a 6 by 60. And if you require a percentage, then again the equation is very simple. It's a 2.077 minus 0.077 into a mark. So these two, the last two which I discussed, like visual acuity rating and visual efficiency, it is not a part of our routine OPD. It is just a part of the any of the certification area. Even for this certification in India, we have to pass a specific exam, and for this specific exam is conducted every year on an online portal, and you can go with this online portal and you give this exam, and after passing this exam you can be also authentic and specific low vision specialist to give this kind of the certificates. So what we discussed up till it is all about a distance visual acuity. Now what about the near visual acuity? So near visual acuity is again a simple, it is in M point, N point, N points only. Nowadays we are using only a N notation. This N notation is nothing else. It is just a Times New Roman letters in your computer, and whenever you go in a Word file and write a Times New Roman letter and whatever the size will become, that is a directly a print. This is also help in a telemedicine. If your patient is away from you and patient ask for the any of the near visual acuity checking, you have to give a just simple solution. Go in a Word file, write on that Word file a particular letter in a Times New Roman and particular size, and the annotation reduced Snellen acuity chart will be ready. Even if you forgot in a camps and etc., then also you can do like this way. Now we move to the another examination. Up till a part, we go to the examination of routine observation. First we discuss, then we discuss detail about the visual acuity and visual acuity calculation. Now we go about the examination part, that is a slit lamp examination. So what is important in a slit lamp examination? Which are the points you have to observe? So whenever patient comes to your clinic, start with a normal ocular adnexa to your patient's cornea, lens and a media, because all these part give you the a recording about the patient's disability, which is a first impact of the low vision, that is a disability, means anatomical problem. And this anatomical problem gives you the hint about the next examination, that is for the physiological assessment. So this slit lamp examination is important for a low vision patient. Then you go for a keratometry reading. In normal OPD, except some cases like a keratoconus and keratoglobus, we are not going for the keratometry reading. But in low vision, it is necessary to check a keratometry reading of each and every individual. Why? Because some of the time what will be happen, even you purchase a good autorefractometer or your good retinoscoper, still due to media opacity like in a lenticular or in aqueous or vitreous, it is not possible to get a refractive error. So already we know the cornea having a power of plus 43 diopter means a maximum power of the cornea is there in a part of the refractive error. The another is of your lens. This is only a 16 diopter. So ultimately by checking for this plus 43 diopter, you come some hint for the patient's refractive error correction. So that's why this keratometry reading is very important for your low vision patient. So now next is a refractive error. This is the actually main part of the refractive error, which is for the low vision, but this is also a tricky part, as well as this part is very important. This is not just a refraction like you do in routine OPD by cycloplegic refraction or doing by just autorefractometer refraction. It is not that. It is something else. And what is required? There is a two technique for this low vision. There is a JND and bracketing. So now this is very important part. Again, pay your attention for your lecture. Some theoretical part is covered. Now we move towards some practical approaches or calculative approaches. So for refraction, what is there? So in refraction, there is a first thing. It is a JND, means just noticeable difference. Means what? If the patient comes to your clinic, patient is sitting, you don't having any of the refractive error data like autorefractometer data or previous glass data. So what you have to do? Just ask patient to simple sitting comfortably on a chair unit, then give a trial frame to patient and where patient a trial frame, show patient a visual acuity chart on a particular distance. At least patient try to admire any of the later. At that point, start putting a +1 and -1 lenses. First you put a +1 lens, ask patient, is there any clarity or blur? Then go for a -1, is there any clarity or blur? If patients show any of the clarity or blur in a particular power, means +1, +2, +3, whatever, the first power which you put and patient admire a clarity or admire the later, that is your just noticeable difference. We'll repeat again. It is a very simple. Ask patient sit comfortably, ask them to wear a trial frame and start putting a particular power lenses. And after putting a particular power lenses, by which power patient say yes, there is a something later I admire or there is something clarity, that point is a just noticeable difference. After getting a just noticeable difference, you have to go for a bracketing technique. What is bracketing? Bracketing word itself says to make a bracket. So what is bracket? As you started with a +1 and -1, you put a +1 and -1. At that time, on a +1 patient saying yes, I have a clear, or if there is a no clarity in +1 or -1, then go further, put +2 and -2. So if after putting a +2 patient get a somewhat clear vision, so that +2 and -2 become your bracketing. So already the lens is a +2, then put again a more +2 lenses, means it become a +4. Patient say yes, it is a clear, then go ahead. Now after again putting another +2, patient says it is a blur. So what is the bracketing? So bracketing is in between +4 to +6. Again, I repeat, it is very simple. You start with a GND +2 -2, patient admire +2. Then on +2 again put a +2, so it become total +4. Patient saying yes, it become a clear. Now again go for a next +2, so it become a +6, and in +6 patient says it is a blur. So patient's power lies it between +4 to +6. So it is a very simple manner to create a bracketing and JND. And if you are doing this JND and bracketing technique, then 90% of the patient having a good vision or good visual acuity. But if there is a hard luck and still patient don't admire any of the vision, or you cannot correct the patient visual acuity, so now what? Then ask for a patient's previous glasses, because previous glasses also give you the hint about patient's refractive error. As well as there is one more benefit of patient's previous glasses. You can do a over refraction, like what you do in your contact lenses. Over refraction means on contact lens you put a spectacle lenses. So same way in this technique, just by patient's spectacle, on that spectacle put a trial clip. This trial clip is a Generali trial clip or Halbach trial clip. There is a one rubber over there, and you have to just pinch that trial clip on a patient refractive error, and then go for the correction, means towards the plus or minus whenever patient gives the admire a clear vision. So it is a very easy and quick method to find out patient refractive error. After find outing patient's refractive error, or if you don't find patient refractive error, so what is the problem? For this kind of the problem, you have to go for a detailed fundus examination, because this fundus examination also give you the hint about patient particular area of affection, where is the problem, and that is also give a hint about the next test for the patient. If you are observing in a ophthalmoscopy there is either macular problem or peripheral problem, or there is a problem related to nerve, then you go for a next examination, and that next examination is patient's visual field examination. For near, you can perform a Amsler grid chart or perimetry. There is a one more thing is there is a online softwares nowadays also available as a telemedicine, so you can also check for patients visual field online also nowadays. So up till which are the examination we covered? The examination part we covers, first is the observation, second part we covered about patient visual acuity, then we covered about the slit lamp examination, then refraction, after refraction keratometry as well as fundus examination and perimetry part we covered. But just by examining a patient, the thing is not completed, because in normal routine OPD, the patient, all the correction and all the data will be finished over here. But low vision begin at that point, means the optics, OLV, that is optics of low vision. As you observe in this picture, it is a very blurry, it's not clear diagram, but it is not as much tough as shown in a diagram. It is a very simple. Any of the optics or any of the low vision device depend on a simple one thing, and that simple one thing is nothing else, it is just a magnification. You have to provide a magnified view to patient in any of the manner or by any of the technique. So how we do a magnification, or what is the magnification actually? So magnification is nothing else, it is a ratio of old retinal image to new retinal image. It means if any of the patient or any of the examiner ask you what is the magnification or how much is the magnification. So what is magnification? It is nothing else. It is a comparison of the two, one old and one new. What we do a comparison, it is a simple comparison as we doing a new shirt and old shirt. So there is a difference. So what is that comparison? Is as simple comparison as nothing you have to do. You have to compare by a new retinal image and old retinal image. This comparison give you a magnification. There is a 5 types of magnification. It is the relative size, relative distance, angular, transverse, and combining. All these 5 kind of the magnification, all device will be work. So we go one by one. So what is relative size magnification? It is a simple example. If suppose there is a two pen are there, one pen is like this and one is like this, which is easy to admire. The bigger pen is easy to admire, smaller pen is difficult. See on a screen, the bigger pen is easy to admire, smaller is difficult to admire. So what will be happen if you increase the size of the any of the object? So that will be cover the more retinal area. So automatic patient magnification will increase. It is simple. You have to increase the size of any of the object if it is possible. So it will be cover the more part of the retina. It is a relative size magnification. Now, what is relative distance magnification? There is a two building, one building of the 5-story and another one of the 10-story building, and you are on a particular place, and this building are one upon one. So what will be happen? That create a one angle. The bigger the angle, so what will be happen? It covers the more area. If suppose there is a one hand and it's cover the more area, so image will be bigger. And if it is over here, the area will be smaller. So what will be happen in a relative distance magnification? If you make a things closer, then it will be a magnified. Simple example of any of the plane. If you observing plane from your home, it is look like a just smaller like your ant. But when you go to the airport and you observe the aeroplane, it is a huge one. So simple, the nearer you, the bigger the image, the bigger the retinal area will cover. The another one is the angular. If you change the angle of particular object and make a more area of retina covered, then it will give you angular magnification. This angular magnification is almost all of the instrument or whatever will be there. There is a tube like your slit lamp, like your synaptophore, like your manual lensometer, like your telescope. All these instruments take this angular magnification. And the last one is a transverse magnification, which we are using more in this webinar and etc. What is transverse magnification? Just by a screen, just by a projection. Whatever you project and the projector cover the screen, the screen, the biggest image you will be observed. But you can also make any of this kind of the magnification by combination also. So what is there? For that, I give you one example. One patient is there, and this patient reading N12 at a 40 centimeter. Patient is reading N12 later at a 40 centimeter. Now patient wants to read a N24 at a 30 centimeter. So what is the magnification? It is simple. First divide this to visual acuity, means 24 by 12. So what is there? There is a 2x magnification. Now divide the distance 40 by 30, it is a 1.33. And if you combine these two and 1.33, it will be 2.6. As simple as your normal maths calculation. Now, what is magnification and from where it came the magnification? In early days, whenever we read at a 25 centimeter, normal distance is taken in early days. Nowadays, it is a 40 centimeter because mobile and etc. are come and our intermediate distance need required a more. But in early days, 25 centimeter is the nearest reading distance which we taken. And if you divide this 25 centimeter by a focal length, so 100 by 25 gives you 4 diopter. Means 1x is equal to 4 diopter come from here. It is simple. Normal 25 centimeter reading distance divided by focal length 100 by 25. It is a 4 diopter will become, that is your 1x. Now the actually calculation or the selecting or device will started over here. We finished with somewhat of the optics part. Now it is come again a second more important part of your low vision. Now if patient having a particular near visual acuity and demand for the good visual acuity, so how you decide a magnification? So decide a magnification is a very simple for a near. If patient having a particular visual acuity like N18 and patient wants N6, so divide this 18 by a 6, what will become? It is a 3. 3 6 are 18. So 3x magnification will require to read a patient from N18 to N12. So it is very simple for a near. You have to do nothing, just one simple calculation. Whatever is patient's present visual acuity, divide that visual acuity by a required near visual acuity, and that dividation power into a x give you the amount of magnification required for a patient. So whenever any of the low vision patient comes to a clinic, just do a simple calculation for near visual acuity and start it from today only in your OPD or in your patients. It is very simple to calculate a near visual acuity. You have to do nothing else. Just patient's present visual acuity divide a required visual acuity, and whatever the X amount will come, and you show the magic, patient start reading particular if the somewhat functioning are there. Now what will be for the distance? So distance is also same as your near only. It is also like what is the present visual acuity divided by required visual acuity. If suppose patient's present visual acuity is a 6 by 60 and patient required a 6 visual acuity, so what you have to do, just divide 60 by 6. So what will become 10x, means patient required a 40 diopter power to read a 6 later. So it is simple, nothing you have to do, just divide patient's present visual acuity divide by required visual acuity. Whatever will be the came, that x power will required for a particular visual acuity. And there is a one more calculation, is that visual acuity will achieved or not. So it is simple, what is the visual acuity achieved? It is a particular magnification power into present visual acuity. So over here the magnification power is a 10x and particular required is a 60 visual acuity. So when you divide a 60 by 10, what you will be got, that is a 6, means yes, patient can get a 6 visual acuity. So by a particular magnification, you can calculate a visual acuity, or by particular visual acuity, you can also get for the your particular refractive error. Now the next slide. Am I audible properly?
Yes.
Okay. Now we go for a further. What is the enlargement ratio? So enlargement ratio finding is again a simple. For a spectacle magnification, it is very simple. If one patient is reading 4M line at a 40 centimeter and he required to read 2M line, so what you have to do? I already discussed with you. Just simple 4M by 2M, it is a 2, that will be the enlargement ratio. And by particular enlargement ratio, what will be the reading distance? So for that, you have to do simple. Divide that working distance by a enlargement ratio. That will become a equivalent viewing distance meter of focal length. I give a simplination by one example. Suppose patient's particular present acuity is a 4M and patient required a 2M visual acuity. So divided that present with a required visual acuity, that will become a particular ratio, that is the enlargement ratio. And from where patient is reading that visual acuity, divide that distance from a enlargement ratio. This will give you equivalent viewing distance. Now we go to a further. If you have a particular equivalent viewing distance, so what will be the power you required for that equivalent viewing distance? So you have to divide that by 1. So over here in this example, there is a 20 centimeter is equivalent viewing distance, divided by 1 in a meter. So it will 100 by 20, means 5 diopter you require to achieve a 2 of the enlargement ratio. Now we go further. How you find a required add for a low vision patient? So it is very simple. Even from a distance visual acuity, you can also check for a required visual acuity for a near. If any of the patient's distance visual acuity you got, divide that visual acuity by patient wish, means what patient desire for a near visual acuity, into 2.5 diopter. So I give you one example. If patient's distance visual acuity is a 20 by 200, now if patient required 1M, 1M means there is a 20 by 50. This conversion you can get on the internet also. A conversion from 1M to distance visual acuity, means from M notation to distance visual acuity conversion also you can get. So it is very simple to calculate. Patient's distance visual acuity is a 20 by 200. So 200 divided by a 1M means 50 into 2.5. So 200 divided by 50 is a 4x plus 2.5 diopter, means particular patient required a 10 diopter, means a 2.5x particular magnification patient required. I repeat again, it is a very simple. What is patient distance visual acuity divided by patient's near visual acuity need into a 2.5, and whatever you will get, that will be the magnification of the patient required. The another one is a Kirschenbaum formula. That is again very simple. 1 divided by distance visual acuity will give you the addition power. It is even simple than above mentioned equation. 1 upon distance visual acuity. Now one patient's visual acuity is a 20 by 160. So 1 upon 20 by 160. So 160 goes up. So 160 divided by 20, it is a 8 diopter. That will be the patient's required near visual acuity. In our routine OPD, we maximally use this equation to check patient's near visual acuity or near visual acuity demand. Over here also the work is not done. Now you have to come for the selection of the device. So which are the devices are there? So there is a first device is a handheld magnifiers. So it is like this. You can screen my video. These are the handheld magnifiers. This is come with a light illumination. This is also come with a light illumination. The another one is this. So handheld magnifier is come into a power of 3x to 6x magnification. What is the advantage? It is easily available. It is a very easy to purchase. So cost effective is there. But the disadvantage is what? There is a one hand will be utilized to just holding a magnifier. So it is quite difficult to write down, or it is difficult to write and read together. The another low vision device, you can say, or you cannot say a low vision device, but a prism spectacle. It is like this. You can observe in this my video. So what is this? This is for the bedridden patient. If any of the patient having any of the trauma or problem in the body, and if they are a bed lying, so just give them this kind of the prism spectacle and patient start reading. The another one very cost effective, very easily available, cosmetically appealing device is what? It is this one. So what is this? This is a spectacle magnifier, easily available, cost effective. Even come in a maximum power. The core range means ready made is a till 20 diopter, and you can make custom made as 60 diopter, means a total eye power also you can make. These are the device which is a very good. So what will be there in your spectacle magnifier? Cosmetically look good. There's a both hands are free. You can do any of the tasks. Cosmetically is also good, so patient can very well accept this device. The another low vision device is a dome magnifier. My observation for near around 60% of the low vision patient is happy with this dome magnifier. It's very simple to use a dome magnifier. Whatever is the object, just put this dome magnifier on a particular object and you see the magnified view. It's as simple as. Even any of the few patients want to see his watch or etc, or from the any of the drug strip or etc, so what will be happen? Just put this dome magnifier on that particular object and it will give a magnification. It comes still a 15x magnification, easily available. It is also lightweight. You don't have to hold this. You have to just scroll on any of the reading material. But one disadvantage, you cannot write this dome magnifier. The another devices are like this. It is a stand magnifier. It is autofocus, or you can do a focus by yourself also. The focal length can be changed. By changing a focal length, you can change about the patient's magnification. For this, you have to hold any of the textbook or whatever, and you have to see like this way. So advantage is what? Hands are free. You can read, but again, you cannot write down. And for the patient like Parkinson disease and etc, it is not a good device because it may give a postural problems. So this kind of the devices, this is a stand magnifier is available. It is came with autofocus, as well as you can do focus by yourself, means patient can also focus for different reading size. The another are the pocket magnifiers. So pocket magnifier comes in a triplet and doublet. See, this is a doublet having a two wing. So whatever the magnification required, if patient require less magnification, start with the one wing. Patient wants a more magnification, then patient can use a two wing also. There is a triplet too. So what is that triplet? In triplet there is a three, 1, 2 and 3. There is a total 3 are there, 3 magnification you can achieve. And the advantage of this magnifier is it is a pocket magnifier, easy to use. You can carry easily into your pocket. The another device is what? The another device is this kind of the one more pocket magnifier. What is there in this pocket magnifier? It come with a illumination. It come till a 6x magnification, and the diameter is also variable, so you can ask for a different diameter, as well as you can also ask for the different illumination light, means LED option or CFL option also available in this pocket magnifier. The another one is this kind of the cylindrical bar. The main advantage of this cylindrical bar is for reading, because it comes with a 200 of the this size, and the variable magnification available 5x, 8x, 10x. But due to cylindrical error, as you observe on my face, maybe on a right now, it create a distorted image. But the advantage again is what? It's a hands-free. You have to just scroll and you can read a individual full line at a one time. The another one is a Fresnel magnifier. It is come till a 10x magnification. Fresnel strip, easy to use. As you observe in this video, you can see my face. It is magnified. Even this device nowadays used by any of the commercial mobile users and etc. You just put on your mobile or any of the screen and that screen will be magnified. So you can convert your mobile screen into a tablet screen and tablet screen into a laptop screen by just using this, and you can enjoy a movie etc. So except low vision patient, there is also use of this. The another, or you can say the only device which is used for a distance, it is a telescope. So there is a various type of the telescopes are there, like it is a bioptic telescope which is come into a two spectacle. Monocular telescopes are there. Autofocus telescopes are also there, means Occutech devices are also there. Occutech device are VES, Occutech device, visual enhancing system. Occutech is a person who is himself a low vision patient from Canada, and he started using this kind of the devices, and he found this Occutech autofocus devices. So you can use that Occutech autofocus devices too. The another instrument for the low vision patient for a reading and etc. is you see the one video over here, how that Fresnel sheet will be magnified view, but it create a somewhat distortion also. The contrast will be changed, so you require a very good illumination. The another are this kind of the spectacle is also available, which is autofocus spectacles. Means there is the two clips over there and you have to just rotate this clip, and by rotating this clip you can focus on a particular object. You see a mirror image of this. So this is also you can use for a distance. So two devices are there, one is a telescope and this kind of the zooming spectacle. The another device is also there, which is an electronic device. This kind of the electronic devices also we can use. So it is a portable, there is a camera, there is a USB port over there. So by just putting this camera on any of the TV screen or object and you attach this camera with your TV, so you can see as big picture as your television. The another device is this kind of the video magnifier. So I just started this video magnifier, show in one video. See this video, there is a video magnifier is available. Even I give you one live demo. So this is a video magnifier which is going to start. You can change contrast, you can change color, you can change a different sizes. So here I just do one thing. Give me any of these. Okay. So there is a knobs are there. This knob is for the contrast changing. So you can see the color will be changed. And this knob is for the magnification. The one more thing, there is a button which is used to record any of your video. So if patient is outside his home and he want to record something, he can record, and by USB cable patient can go home and can see from his TV. So these are the some device. Now some other devices, means which are the non-optical devices, are also there, which are like later writing guide. It is like this. I just demonstrate you. This is a later writing guide in which there is some gaps are there and patient will be write over here. So easy to write. It is come for a A4 size, A3 size, A2 size, etc. size will become. The another one is there for a reading. There is a black color, so it will be avoid the glare. The another one is a large print, so it will be patient can stick on a patient's computer or mobile or everywhere. The another, there is a Notex, but after Notebandi it won't work because new Notex is still not covered. But old notes or old currency, this Notex will be used. The another one is a check guide. So for check guide is simple. There is a date, there is a name, amount, and signature. So simple check guide, it is come on a size of the check. Just put on a check and fill the blanks. This is again a signature guide. The another one is a needle threader. So this is a needle threader in which there is a one hole will be there. You have to just put a thread over there, and after putting this thread into there, you can easily use this. So this is a needle threader, a simplest device you can use. So this kind of the variable low vision devices are there. But now what I'm going to discuss is very important point. Just by giving this low vision device, work will be not work. What you have to do, or what are the hint for this low vision device? So there is some simple hint or tips. If any of the patient comes to a clinic and having a patient having a pseudophakia, then always think for a 3 to 4 diopter of against the rule astigmatism. If patient come with a RP or a albinism, think for a minus number means a myopia, as well as think for a nystagmus means a visual stabilizer devices. If any of the patient comes to your clinic with a central visual acuity affected, then your near vision device will not work, because the main seeing area for the is just for near, so that won't also work. The another thing, if any of the patient comes to your clinic having a central visual acuity related problem, required a more lighting. If any of the disease like peripheral retina involved, that required a less lighting. So these are the some hints you have to keep in a mind for which patient, which kind of the lighting and etc you require. The another one low vision device you can use or you can make at your home, also at your clinic also, they are the field expanding devices. So what is this field expander device? Is just to expand your field. The simplest example is what the peephole in your door means. By using a minus lens you can increase your vision field. By giving a mirror also you can expand a visual field, means whatever is a blind side, put a mirror over there, so it will be mimic the another seeing side. So that is one also used. The another device is what, that is a putting a prism, the base towards a blind side. If you put a base towards the blind side, what will be happen, the apex image will be shifted and patient can be observe that image. So you can give prisms also. So these are the field expander devices. Other are the softwares are also there, like Zoom 8.0, then a big shot will be there. This Zoom 8.0 magnifier, this all nowadays available just in your iOS phone as well as Android phone. They're having a free 1 month trial. Just right now try, go to Play Store and write down Zoom 8.0, and you get the software for your PC, for your mobile. So you can use this kind of the softwares also, and ask patient to use this software for a trial version. It is a free. If patient like that, then go for a purchase version. There is a one more software, there is a JOS, job assessment for a Windows system, that is also you can use. There is a one more function in this software is what, it is for the finding a job also for a low vision patient, so it is also there. So by providing this kind of the devices and calculation, low vision is not finished. There is a one more part of the low vision is a rehabilitation. Word itself says rehabitualization, means habitualize patient for a patient's previous life, patient previous normal life. That is the rehabilitation. And for this rehabilitation, you required not only just optometrists, you required ophthalmologists as well as psychological trainer, which will be check patient's arena, patient's home, patient working system, working style, and motivate patient to use this kind of the low vision devices. So this rehabilitation part is also important. Here is some example of rehabilitation. This is nothing else. See over here, you see the picture. There is a one low vision patient is there, and there is a one more helper is there. So she is training where to touch. So at this elbow area, they have to hold the patient from this elbow area for normal walking, and one hand on a patient another shoulder, one hand on a shoulder, the another at a elbow level. If patient is climbing a staircase, so at that time you have to hold from the wrist. The another one same way, if patient is from the riser, that also time you have to above from the wrist. If any of the door will be there, then you have to go with a patient. So this kind of the sighted guide technique, also the dog guide technique, or same way any of the cane technique. This cane are also special cane. On the end of the cane there is a metallic part, so by touching that metallic part you observe the change. So this kind of the sighted guide technique, then this kind of different training will also given for a low vision patient. Just by prescribing a low vision patient, the low vision is not finished. Actually the assessing patient, motivate the patient, and as well as guide patient for a future. This all part cover the low vision. So what is the low vision? Low vision is not just a simplified visual acuity testing or giving the magnifier, but it is a broad view of this kind of the training, this kind of the psychologists, this kind of the rehabilitators. This all thing together become a low vision practitioner or low vision clinic. And if we are performing that, then we can achieve our vision 2020, which is this year only. So try to avoid avoidable blindness, give patient a low vision devices and help them out. This is just a beginning or overview of low vision. Today, up till I covered only a 1 or 2 percentage of the low vision only. It is a very vast. There is a very case are there. You have to discuss about the case and etc. And if you want such kind of the more video, as well as one more thing are there I want to discuss. Optometry is not just a bookish knowledge or just an optometry, but you required your image building, you required your business building, as well as you required about your taxation and law. This all thing will cover, then that become optometry. Just college gives you a bookish knowledge, but after college knowledge means out of the box, that is image, business, law and taxation. If you want this kind of the videos and this kind of the material, then you can find out it on a YouTube channel of us. It is education optometry. uh, I request, or from this platform, please go through by this YouTube channel, as well as there is a social media page like Instagram, as well as Facebook page also like education optometry, so you can get over there. And I thank you for Optum, and also you follow this for Optum YouTube channel as well as from the Facebook, so get this kind of the more and more knowledgeable session. So thank you for Optum to give me this opportunity to sharing my view, and thank you audience to hear me for this last 40-50 minutes. I hope you understand something.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful, wonderful presentation, and I resonate with you. Optometry is not just about bookish knowledge, it is about image building, business building. Very well said, sir. And we immensely enjoyed the presentation today. I'm sure our audiences have also enjoyed the presentation. So, shall we move towards the discussion now?
Yeah.
Okay, so first question that we've received is from Evo Technology, who wants to know what is the role of accommodation in the magnification calculation?
Okay. There is a biggest role of accommodation in the low vision calculation. Yeah, I agree with that. But if patient having a strongest accommodation, so how they will having a low vision? First point is that if patient having a good functioning is there, patient don't having a disability, then the visual acuity will be a good. So for a magnification, yes, there is a role of accommodation. But while we are discussing about the low vision patient and magnification, there is a less role of accommodation. You see in all of the calculation which we are doing, but there is a nothing will be there written a low vision and sorry, accommodation over there. Why there is a nothing written? Because if patient having a that much strongest accommodation, then patient won't require any of the magnification or correction. There is not there, that's why we require magnification from outside. Like we are prescribing a presbyopic ad to a normal patient like particular age and particular reading distance, and you just give a reading ad without thinking of the accommodation. So same way it is the same as that.
Thank you for the answer, sir. Similarly, the second question that we've received today is how is mirror prescribed as a visual field expander and is it incorporated on spectacles?
Okay. uh, you may see there is a cyclist are there, and on a cyclist there is a spectacle frame. This is not a same spectacle frame like this. There is a spectacle frame, and on side there is a one attachment, and on this side there is a mirror. If suppose patient having a visual field defect on a towards rightward side, then you have to put this left side of the mirror, so you can convert this right side image to left side. One example I will give you. If you enter in any of the society, and entering in that society there is a big mirror are there, so what they will do, the another entrance of the society you can observe from that mirror. So whatever is a blind side, opposite to that side you have to keep a mirror, so you patient can see that side from this mirror, from the seeing eye.
Thank you for the
So you
answer,
cannot,
sir. Yes, sir, please continue.
so you cannot incorporate into a spectacle frame, but you have to give a side attachment to that.
Okay, so similarly, we see a lot of low vision patients. We do a lot of tests for the low vision patients. So, how many of them actually go for the low vision kit? And how do we need to treat the patient and how do we select the devices for them?
Okay. First of all, whenever you start with your low vision patient or low vision clinic, my personal experience is that don't do or keep on a same day. First of all, keep a particular, because we know there is a low vision is not that much aware in our country or in our state, so the patients are less. So on a earning point of view, there is a less earning because almost low vision patient are a poor patient. That's why they are not go for a treatment and etc. And at the end state they comes to us. So first of all, keep a particular different day for a low vision patient. Give a maximum of the time. First thing is that. And second one, how to select a low vision device for the patient. So first of all, go for a patient's need. Patient want for a distance or want for a near. So by for a distance or near, differentiate your low vision device. See right now, if you see, I differentiate same way. First, I show you a near devices, then I start for a distance devices, and then I start for a computer devices. So even select your trial case or select the devices of the low vision by that manner only, some near distance and for the higher low vision devices. So whatever is a patient's demand or requirement, so first think for that, by that selecting a device for distance or near, and after which device will be work. So for that, if patient wants to reading, so take a device which is the longest. If patient just observe or find detail at a home, then take a smallest lens. So by this manner you can selecting a low vision device. But again, this is a theory point of view. Each low vision patient is a new patient, each low vision patient is a new lesson. So patient to patient it will be varies, and it comes with a somewhat of the experience. So don't think or don't wait for experience, start it from today, then you got the experience. Don't wait for experience.
Similarly, we talk about using canes in patients with low vision as well as the guide dog. So, how common is the uses of guide dogs in case of India? And is the cane training suitable for all low vision patients, or is it particular?
No, cane training is not suitable for all the low vision patient. Only the patient mainly having a peripheral visual field loss and having a problem in a mobility, and patient is an active traveler. At that time, you required only a cane training, and this dog guide will be for the only active travelers. Yes, in India also, even a individual state, I give you some references. They provide this kind of the dog guide and your cane training to you and your patient also. So it is easy even nowadays in India. Dog guide is still not that much of the easily available or patient know about that. Yeah, there is a one good point I want to discuss which I forgot during a presentation. See, there is a one picture for the dog guide. It is something different. The dog which we are trained at our home for a normal purpose, they tied from their neck, but this kind of the dogs are tied from the patient's leg area. So the dog will be moved, and by the movement of that dog's legs, that patient comes to know if there is a dig or there is a clear road or whatever will be there. So some technique is different than our normal routine dogs.
Thank you for the answer, sir. Similarly, as an optometrist, while treating and managing low visions, what are the situations or problems that we can face?
Usually what I found is helplessness. I'm saying it's a helplessness because why? If maximum of the patient having a suppose macular problem or etc., even we providing a low vision device, and still patient vision is not improved. Patient is already came from ophthalmologist to us, so they having a one hope that particular person will be clear that my vision, and we cannot do because in all low vision patient it is not possible to increase visual acuity because anatomical portion should be working. If anatomical portion will work, then we can add on the physiological from the outside. Like presbyopic patient, there is a eye is there, means anatomy is there, so you can provide a plus lenses from the outside. But if patient don't having eye, means not functioning area, not anatomical area will be there, then how can you will help? So this is one major drawback from the inner conscious is helplessness, because each low vision patient you cannot help. Some remain as it is, and they may be gradually converted into a blind. So this is one helplessness in this low vision.
And how receptive are our patients towards the management options that we lay out for them? Because a lot of times we see that the patient, they expect vision from us, and because we're not able to provide them, they are sometimes not open to using the devices that are going to help them. So how do we manage those patients?
Yes. What I'm doing, see, I'm never give appointment directly to the patient. First of all, what I do, I ask patient from his previous file, all the previous files. So from the previous files, you get the idea how much vision will be there, and according to condition, like if patient having a Stargardt disease or patient having RD or DR or whatever will be there, how much you can help patient theoretically. First, calculate that at home only, and by calculating, ask patient on a call, this much help I can do maximum. So what will be happen? Patient already mentally prepared. My vision will improve, but it is on a certain limit only. So that thought or that grief in a patient we can avoid.
Okay. So similarly, coming to the color vision in low vision patients, because a lot of times we're not really able to detect the color vision deficiency, especially also with the Ishihara
Yes.
test plates. So is there any other method to test the color vision in the low vision patients?
Okay. Even there is a method. Even there is some device. I just take a 1 minute break. I get that device from my clinic. Just 1 minute.
Sure, so sure. So just give us some minutes. So we'll be back with the answer, and he will be showing us, demonstrating us how we can do color vision testing in the low vision patients.
Okay. Sorry to interruption. Am I audible again?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. I just show you one thing. For the low vision, there is a lantern test is also there. Even there is a panel D15 and etc. This kind of the tests are also available for the low vision patient. But for a particular low vision patient, there is a Feinblum test for a color vision is also available for particular low vision patient. Even for treatment base, I show you that Exchrome lenses which I usually use for low vision patient. Is my video is seen?
Uh, a thank you slide is visible, sir.
Okay, I just presenting my just a minute. Right now.
No, the video camera is off. We can just switch off the presentation mode, sir, and we can just see the video.
Okay, now.
Yes, the video is visible.
Okay. So this kind of the lenses, which are the Exchrome lenses or collagen lenses from the Amity group of company, you can use. Maybe you can get something. There is a one filter over there.
Yes, sir.
So you can use this kind of the lenses, as well as one more thing you can do. There is a filter spectacle are also available nowadays on Amazon and etc. It is around 75,000 and 65,000. But we are making by one specialty technique that filter lenses, which is come just in 1,000 rupees cost. This is our finding which we do in low vision patient, and we got the formula, and we are making that for the red and green patient, and it gives a 100% result. One more thing for prosthetic patient and etc. This kind of the contact lenses are also available, which even provide a vision. That is also available nowadays with a Google chip.
Okay. Similarly, we also want there is a case that one of our audience has sent us. I'm just going to read it out to you. If the
Okay.
patient's near visual acuity is N12 at 40 centimeter, and if he wants a near acuity of N6, then can we prescribe the amount of magnification by calculation, and patient can read N6 with that magnification amount? So in this case, does the patient can read N6 with the same magnification at the same reading distance, or will it change?
Okay. Good question. So it's simple. First of all, patient's present visual acuity is a N12, and now patient required N6. So what will be happen? So N12 divided by 6. So what will be there? There is a 6x magnification. So magnification came 6x, but maybe a reading distance patients will be changed. Why? Because as the magnification will be increased, the reading distance will be a nearer, but not in all the cases. But mainly in few cases, the reading distance will be a more nearer than 40 centimeter. If you
And
don't want
does
to,
the
yeah, if you don't want
please continue.
to change that distance and etc., use a double aspheric aplanatic lenses, which we are using in a walk lenses. That kind of the lenses are also available for a low vision patient, so we can use that kind of the lenses.
Double
Double
aspheric
aspheric
applied.
aplanatic lenses, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Similarly, while coming to the magnification calculation for near as well as distances, we have a few formulas. So, are they applicable for all the low vision devices, or is there something particular that it can only be applied for?
Okay, except the angular and projection devices, this will be allowed for the all low vision devices. because for angular and any of the electro-optical device, the calculation is different because they are using prism in there. So in that the calculation will be changed, but otherwise for all the S, the calculation is same.
And similarly, could we also elaborate a little bit on the patients with low vision, for especially with the patients with nystagmus? How do we go about the low vision assessment and rehabilitation?
Okay. For the nystagmus patient, we can do simple. First of all, find the patient's null or neutral zone and make a spectacle with a prism to shift a patient's eye in a null zone or neutral zone. I assured you, in a 30 to 40% of the patient which I observed, they improve their visual acuity just by a simple refractive correction and moving the null zone. Without any low vision device, 30 to 40% of the nystagmus patient get the visual acuity just by shifting that null zone or neutral zone from center to a particular area, and patient get the vision. And for that rehabilitation section, what we have to rehabilitate, so first of all, for rehabilitation we have to stabilize their eye, and after stabilizing, ask patient for a fixation. Mainly fixation part you have to focus on more.
Similarly, while we were discussing about the occupation and the occupation platform for the visually impaired population, what job and opportunities are available for the patients of low vision, and what do we see in the future, the prospects?
Okay. Right now even there is a lots and lots of opportunity. Actually we are not knowing, and that's why we are not delivering to patient. Any of the government job will be there. There is a particular quota in India for a visually handicapped. There is a 12% government job quota. The another thing, yesterday there is a 12 science result came, and my 4 patient low vision patient are there in a 12 science. They added with a +5% into their grade. So even when while you are attempting for that form for the board, you have to write down about the low vision specific certificate, and if you go with that, even you can help that patient for that grading. Even now I'm going to help them for their admission also. So this kind of the already there. Even there is some project are also there. Atal Savera is a one project from the Atal Bihari Vajpayee at that time, that is for the visually handicapped person only. So there is a job opportunity. Then Kamdar is one more. There is a one portal for this visually challenged patient. So this kind of the so many portals are available from our government. So by this portal you have to just fill up their CV and etc., and according to that they provide them a job. Even TCS, Tata Consultancy, also having their CSR. In that CSR there is a also 6% job are reserved for this visually challenged patient. Maruti Suzuki, they also doing like same way. So you have to be first aware and aware your patient for this kind of the opportunity. Opportunities are there, just we have to grab it.
Thank you so much for the answer, sir. We're wrapped up with our questions now. And on behalf of IBIDS and our audience, I would like to thank Mr. Keyur Sharma for taking the valuable time and giving us the lovely experience and the knowledge that you have imparted on us today. So I would like to request, sir, to share your experience on today's session.
First of all, I would like to thank all the team of the 4Optum. We are doing very hard working, not just for this 1 hour, but before 1 hour, there is a lot many work is there. You have to create lot many things, even for this internet platform and etc. So first of all, I appreciate the job of you are doing. You are actually uniting optometry. What the things the different councils and associations cannot do, you people are doing this thing, and you did this thing. You unite optometry by this platform. So I'm very thankful and I'm happy with you to be a united optometry.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. And it was an honor, absolute honor and pleasure to have you here today. And this brings us to the end of our program. I would also like to thank our audiences for being ever so supportive, kind, attentive, and interactive. If you have any other questions, you can always come up to Sir. Sir has also shared his contacts with you, and you can also come up to us, and we will convey your doubts and queries to Sir. And on that note, I would like to end the meeting. The session will be on YouTube soon. Stay tuned for more sessions and programs by IBIDS and 4Optum. You can also visit us at www.4optum.com for more information on 4Optum and IBIDS. Also, join us on social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay home, stay safe, and have a great day. Thank you.